In a world where every click, every swipe, and every transaction tells a story, two questions loom largest. How safe is our data in this new era? And how do data teams harness this information successfully? Today, we're going to be meeting Anusha Adiga, who's a manager of data management and strategy at EY. And she's going to be sharing her strategies and insights into building successful data teams and the impact of data governance in the modern world. Coming up in today's episode, building successful data teams, AI and ML and its impact in data governance, and also mastering data risks. Anusha, in your career, you've transitioned from a product manager to a data manager and strategist at EY. I'm interested to know your thoughts on what aspect is key to building successful data teams.
I would say for the data teams, data teams need to be more human focused. Yeah. As I was preparing for this, I just thought of a little quote. The biggest asset of the data team is not the data, but the people. Yeah. How we train, how we guide, coach, mentor, skill the team, reskill the team, and eventually upskill them plays a very, very important role. If you look at this data skill that's needed to succeed, let's just say in banking, is not just the analytical or knowing to write the code. One also needs to understand the business side of things. How does banking operate? A successful data person can only be someone who can have this end-to-end view, or a successful team that can be made up of two different people who brings a really strong analytical skill and the other person who brings a really strong business skill and able to work together. So the team having a really safe and sound place where they can communicate with each other, where both understand what the objectives are. So a really strong data team is one that is human focused, and it's that team, a human focused team will set us up for success.
So what do you think some organizations get wrong in developing their data teams?
Data teams should be driven by business requirements. Yeah. The world of data and analytics is very fancy. Last year, Gen AI just took things by storm, and everybody were like, oh, what is Gen AI? How do I build that capability in the team? All the right questions, right? But the key question for a data leader to think of is my organization ready to embark on that journey? Data scientist is the most fanciest, job that most head of data will want in their team, right? But is the organization ready to drive that AI ML capabilities is a really, really key question, because a lot of organizations hire data scientists, but at the end of the day, they are doing data analyst role because senior leaders are not yet ready to embark on that journey. What happens eventually is a demotivated team, right skill sets are not used in the right place, and people leave. There is attrition, or we are not championing the potential of individuals, which eventually, lets down the data leader. So a data team should always be driven by the business vision, what the business wants to achieve, and the strategic direction.
And what would you tell businesses that they should be doing to better enable their data teams?
So business need to be very clear what they want to achieve, right? And by when they want to achieve and how they want to achieve. And have a data person within the business team who can help them say what data can achieve and what data cannot achieve, right? One of the things that happens in most data quality discussion around, senior, group is, oh, there is a data quality issue, it's a data issue. But why did the data quality issue happen? The root cause is always one of the business process did not enable us capture the right data. So we always see business teams and data teams are siloed, right? But we need that data skills in the business team. We need a person who can give those insights to the business leaders to say, yes, data can solve that problem. Yes, it's simple data analytics that can solve the problem. No, we need advanced analytics to solve the problem. There's no point on, having an advanced analytics, AI, ML deployed for a simple, use case that a data analyst can solve. Investments also needs to be really backed by those insights. What do we want? By when do we want? And how do we want? And how does data enable business do that? And the trusted advisors need not always be within the data team. The trusted advisors can and should come from within the business team who understand data and are operating the business. And for those lower level, very niche specialist thing, they bring the data team in to solve those problems.
I'd love to know more about your experience with AI.
I think AI ML makes any leader look very fancy. It really means it shows that the data leader is up to the speed of the market. They are not lagging behind. So I think every data leader wants to embark on the journey of AI and ML. And it's a really, really good thing, because when easier tasks get automated, or when simpler decisions are being made by machines, we get to focus on the big picture. We get to focus on bigger things. Like, for example, light bulbs didn't exist, and then magically they existed, and today our lives have changed forever. So it is something that every leader, irrespective of their domain or irrespective of their specialization, they need to champion to see how they can bank on it to push boundaries and be successful. But it should be for the right use case with the right requirement. If that's not there, we are not setting us up for success.
And who needs to own the responsibility for that? Is it the data team, the product team, or the business? Or is it everybody together? What are your thoughts?
It's everyone together. Business needs to come up with their problems, and they can propose a solution, but data team should then sit with the business and see if it is a use case that AI ML needs to solve, or can automation solve, like robotic process automation. Like, there are so many other things that can solve a problem, and we don't need big things like AI ML to come and help us. In fact, it'll be quicker. So a collaborative effort is the solution. Like, a data team and a business team cannot work in silos. There needs to be a collaboration. I see data team as an expert and business team as an expert in their own domain. And there needs to be a golden handshake to make anything successful.
And the last topic I'd really like us to discuss today is I'd like us to move on to and discuss data risk and observability. What are your thoughts on the importance of these?
We are collecting more data than ever before, right? Even at an airport, if we want to sign up for an Wi-Fi, it's understandable, one customer contact information like email address, if one-time passcode or something needs to be sent, but we are collecting more and more data than ever before. So now there is a bigger challenge that is facing the data community as to how these data gets managed, how this data gets used, how do we protect the privacy of the human behind that data? How do we use the data in the right way for the right use case? So data risk is becoming a bigger and a bigger challenge. And it will continue to become a bigger challenge. And I think the real potential of data was understood, or the real risk of data was understood after the Cambridge Analytica thing happened. So we need to make sure any data that is collected, is stored, and managed with the right governances and processes in place. If not, we run into a bigger risk. And now, especially with more and more organizations wanting to champion and embark on the advanced analytics journey, if the data is not used for the right use case, it could be detrimental. And we just don't know a data that is collected about Anusha today, how it could get or be put to use in 20 years' time. Will I be, just because I did something today, will I be, not be in a good position when I'm at my retirement age? If I don't pay my mortgage, or if I don't pay any of my cards today because of some reason, will that affect me at my retirement? How long can we use the data for? Are all the type of questions that are surfacing. We have got more data storage capacities than ever before. We have moved into cloud. Most organizations have moved into cloud. So data risk is something key that we as leaders should start thinking about and start protecting our customers and communities and ourselves, because I know at the end of the day, my data is also collected. I have a vested interest. And when I speak about data risk, I always think about data observability. So, all these long we have been on reactive data quality. So data observability in my eyes kind of put things in a proactive way. We are looking at the data that is across in the ecosystem in a real-time basis and getting an eagle-eye view if the data is getting loaded in the right time, the right data is coming at the right time, is it flowing well between the systems? It is having an eagle-eye view and a real-time view to say, is the data performing the way it is supposed to perform? So we are monitoring, we are, managing it real time, and we are giving, for data engineers and data analysts, we are telling in real time about a problem that could occur tomorrow. So we're able to give more insights and give that eagle-eye view at an organization level across an ecosystem.
Now, how do you think that fits into data governance as a practice, for example?
Data risk is very much, data governance, and it is an emerging field in data governance. So if we look at data governance, we have DAMA, EDMC, and all those councils who have established CDMC, established practices, and data risk is an emerging area. And it kind of encapsulates everything really well. And in the regulated industry, data governance is, not a kind of a new thing. This was driven by regulatory requirements. BCBS 239 is, I would say, is a regulation which has driven the banking industry after the subprime mortgage crisis or the recession in 9-10. Around that time, 2008. So then, it was observed that banks need to maintain their risk data better. And on back of a regulatory requirement, the banks have really embarked in the journey of data governance. It is nicely nailed down, And now data risk is now becoming more and more important insight with the directions, we are going towards. And a lot of big major banks have elevated data risk as a principal risk within their bank, and other banks will soon follow, and other organizations will soon follow.
For more great insights from Anusha, follow her journey and her updates on LinkedIn. And if you're looking for more data strategies for success, join us in our episode with Emily Reed, where she discussed being a data product manager and working with data teams. And this episode was brought to you by our friends at Amplitude. And thanks so much. And from me, Ross Webb, until next time, bye for now.